Well, good morning, my friends. We have a big day today. Today, we're going to talk about 1969, John and Yoko's bed-in. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. So in March of 1969, John Lennon and Yoko Ono got married. A couple of days after, they ended up going into a hotel, Hilton, in Amsterdam, and creating quite a stir by doing a protest. They decided to stay in bed for a week, inviting all media and anyone that wanted to come visit them to do so. 2 months later, they decided they wanted to do that again. First, they went to the Bahamas. They realized, John said, no media is going to want to come down here. We're a little too far from the US. He couldn't come in the US because a year before, he had been busted on cannabis and was banned from the country. So he said, you know where we should go? We should go to Canada. And so they took up residency for a little over a week at the Queen Elizabeth here in Montreal. We're going to go over and check out that place now. Now, the original purpose for this bed-in was, like I said, peace. They thought that this, Yoko says now naively, we thought that this would lead to the end of the Vietnam War. We thought that people would come to their senses and that this would bring peace on Earth. And so, on May 26th, they planned on a month-long stay in bed. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to happen. Because you see, during this time of being in bed, they were actually having to check in with Montreal periodically. They were here on sufferance, and they were appealing that, which was basically denying them access to be here. And so it was after that 10-day period that Montreal said, you have to go. And that's what ended up ending this bed-in. Here's part of St. Patrick's Cathedral. Take a look at this. We made it over to the Canadian Olympics offices. Kind of a cool thing to see. They had the Olympics here in 1976, and everything I read, they dang near almost bankrupted this city having it here. Look at this amazing flame. This torch replica. I love it. This may even have a museum type experience to it. Well, here's where it all happened. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and her daughter Kyoko. This is where they would have spent those 8 days in bed. Now what's interesting is that they didn't have just one room, they had multiple rooms. And the hotel now even embraces this. They even have that same room, room 1742, available for any guest to stay in. And they've actually decorated it almost identical to the way that John and Yoko had it, with the war is over, all the I love John stuff, I love Yoko all over the walls. They've kind of kept that memory alive here. And if you go around the corner, which we're going to do, and I'm going to switch lenses, you can look up to where their room was, and you can see that they have that same writing on the windows that they had in 1969 when they were here. Now here's the corner of the hotel. What was the Queen Elizabeth, now it's the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth. And if we zoom to the third floor down from the top, that was the room, and that was exactly where their bed was. So take a look at this. Now, a few days ago, I went to the Grieve and Wax Museum, and they actually had a demonstration, a recreation of that room with John and Yoko's wax figures laying in the bed. And my original intention was to put that in right here and show you. However, I told you that this hotel kind of embraces that history. So I came in here yesterday and I said, is there any off chance that I could go view the room or even just show the door? And to my surprise, they said, come back here tomorrow morning and we will give you a view of the room. So I will tell you more of the story inside the room, but we are going inside room 1742, the John Lennon and Yoko Ono bed-in room. Let's go. Now here's the entrance into the lobby of the hotel if you wanted the full experience. And I'm told they even have a gift shop here that sells replica pajamas commemorating that event. So we'll check that out. Now I just have to give a huge shout out to the Fairmont, Queen Elizabeth, for allowing this to happen and letting us do this, because this just goes hand in hand with all of my experiences here in Montreal. Not once have I had anybody that was anything but kind, and they've all went out of their way if they could to make things like this happen. So big shout out to them. I got here a little bit early before our meeting, so I figured I'd take a look in the gift shop and see what they had. And right there they have that. Oh, and by the way, did I tell you guys? The demo for Give Peace a Chance was recorded in the room that we're going to be going into. How cool is that? Pretty cool lobby, I'm telling you. Pretty cool. Now I'm sure, as you can imagine, this was great publicity for the hotel itself back in 1969. It was, you know, their name was splashed all over the newspapers every day for over a week. But the guests that were staying here hated it. They said online that guests would constantly complain and say, end this crazy charade, kick them out, make them go somewhere else, this is ridiculous. And yet, to the hotel's, you know, I guess better judgment, they allowed it to keep going on. Here we go. Yeah. This is the 50th anniversary of the bed-in as well. So as I mentioned, at the time, John and Yoko and Kyoko actually had multiple rooms, and those room doors would have been right here. Now the hotel has actually turned all of the rooms into one great suite, and we're about to enter it. Well, here we are, guys. I'm gonna give you a tour now. They've modernized it. In 2016, 2017, they closed the whole place down and the whole hotel down and renovated it. So this is done in the style of John Lennon, Yoko, their travels, their personal life. One of the things they were telling me was, here's actually one of the bathrooms, is that they went with an ocean theme because Yoko's name means ocean. So you can see the blue and the blue and white. She does a lot of yin and yang type things with her art, so they wanted to keep that. Now the books on the table here were actually two of John's favorite books, Alice in Wonderland and Edgar Allan Poe. Now what I thought was really interesting was this. They've turned one of the walls into what looks like the archives at the Dakota. Yoko Ono has two suites there, one being all the historical archives and then one being where she lives. Now what they've done is, you can see in this one, they've put the ledger of complaints from when they were staying here, and all of them are audio, so you can push buttons and you can hear, you know, various clips from when they were here, complaints, interviews. And then here we have some of their memorabilia, and here's a photo of them in bed. And they were telling me that John was such a fan of young people that during his time here he actually hired one of the bellboys to become his assistant. Look at some of these photos. Now they said that they attempted to keep an Eastern and Western type theme here because of obviously John and Yoko's love for Eastern and Western. So if you look at some of the fixtures, some of the furniture right there, then the astronomy on the walls. And so the bed, this room right here is not the room that they recorded Give Peace a Chance, or they entertained all the guests, but it was over in this area of the other rooms where John grabbed the bed and dragged it into the room that we're going to see. Now, so they said since John loved taking baths so much, they wanted to do a really nice inspired bath, and look at that, with a kind of an ocean Yoko Ono type wall mural. There's the giant shower. So now I know you guys are really waiting for the big one. You really want to see, where did it really happen? Where did John and Yoko entertain hundreds if not thousands of people from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. including Dick Gregory, Tommy Smothers, Petula Clark, Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary. Tons and tons of interviews. They entertained Hare Krishnas here. This was the room. Now wait till you see what they've done. First, if you look at the walls, since they recorded Give Peace a Chance here, they've turned the walls into almost like a cemetery where it's engraved lyrics. How cool is that? Now they also did this. They put time period furniture, but it's also updated because check this out. If you open, or if you pick up the telephone, it actually has interviews that John gave while they were staying here. Now on top of that, this is where he would have drugged the bed into. They've furnished it with, you're gonna love this, a virtual reality machine here. And if you put that on, you feel like you're in the event. You feel like you are in the John and Yoko experience in the bed. Now this looks old, this old kind of reel-to-reel machine, but it's actually been updated. So if you press these buttons, it has interviews that John gave here.
You're only going to cause confusion, and the establishment will say, "Ha that's the result of John." Okay, hey, listen, you lot. Now, don't come.
So they've also modernized the TV. It looks like an old TV, but they've put all clips from John and Yoko being in this room on the television. So just think, right there, for 8 days, from May 26th till June 2nd, when they were deported, in this very room, this is where it happened. This is where they conducted all those interviews, laying in that bed. John mostly on the left side, Kyoko in the center, and Yoko on the right. They would have hosted, like I said, all of their friends. Anyone that, basically what I read online was anyone that wanted to come and visit could. If you didn't look like a psychopath or you weren't wielding a gun or something, they were pretty willing to let you in. And they entertained, some say thousands of guests. They did hundreds of interviews here. And this is where he composed Give Peace a Chance and acquired a chorus of his friends, including Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, one of my personal heroes, Dick Gregory, like I said, Petula Clark, one of the Smothers brothers, and they sat in this room with a little tape recorder right in this very spot. I mean, you can actually find pictures online of the man standing right here with the tape recorder and them sitting on the bed with a guitar, and I mean, it's just unbelievable. And God, the Queen Elizabeth here, I mean, they have done a phenomenal job. I mean, look at this. And the experience doesn't stop here, because check this out. When you go into the living room, they're actually telling me they just removed the Christmas tree, so they actually even had a Christmas tree in here. They have pictures commemorating the event. Look at that. I think at the time people didn't really understand what John was trying to do here, but he said he was just trying to teach people that it all came to personal responsibility. If you accomplished things in your home, if you worked on your personal relationships, if you made a productive life and you made great relationships with those around you, it would basically overflow and it would just help the world in general. But you know, a lot of people thought this was just John being like a crazy hippie. And then you had people like Rolling Stone who were pretty supportive of it and would report a lot on whatever they were doing in here. And originally they were going to do this in New York, but like I said, because John had that cannabis charge, he couldn't do it there. And then he wanted to do it in Toronto, but they were held up and questioned forever. So they ended up changing it to here. So let's take a look out the window. The same views they would have had. What a true honor. And like I said, since this is the 50th anniversary, keep that in mind, because this city is going to host a pretty great art exhibit, like a museum type thing, commemorating the event. And if you were ever wanting to stay in this room, this would be the time. I mean, what better time? And they even, for you musicians, you can sit here and perform your own version of Give Peace a Chance with an Epiphone guitar. And they had a local artist recreate some of the signs that John had made and put on the walls. There's a lot of footage. If you look online, you can find a lot of footage of John taping up the things himself on these walls. But wow, what a suite, huh? Unbelievable. They did such a great job here. Now there are some crazy historians that'll be out there saying, well, they should have kept the room exactly the way it was, and they should have kept the original bed. You can't keep a 50-year-old bed, and this day and age, yeah, I mean, you just have to update things. So if you're going to update it, this was the way to do it. They did it, I think, the best possible way you could have done it. Like I said, they have these old furniture, the old reel-to-reel machines, but they've made them modern. You can do a virtual reality experience. You can listen to the interviews. You can lay here in bed and imagine you are in this room when that was all happening. Big ups, man. This is one of the coolest experiences I've ever gotten to vlog. And just to let you know how truly monumental this room is in history, the song Give Peace a Chance was what thousands of people sang at Washington, D.C., led by Pete Seeger when they were protesting the Vietnam War. So it was an anthem, and it was all written and recorded here. And pretty much sang at every peace march now. So if you're one of the lucky people that comes here and gets to rent this room, have fun going through all of these little file drawer doors and finding all these little surprises. This one they just showed me, which is really fascinating. It's their menu. It's what they were eating when they were staying here. And I had to kind of laugh when she showed me this, because I had just mentioned this in a vlog, like, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago when I was back visiting my grandpa, and he took me to a crazy restaurant and they had turtle soup. That was what they had for dinner, turtle soup. Sometimes sirloin steak, lamb chops. Pretty funny. So we're gonna head out of here, and I'm just gonna show you some of the views of out the window if you stay here. And I'd mentioned earlier in the vlog that at one point you could get pajamas here. Couldn't find them now, but they said that they might come back for the 50th anniversary, so keep your fingers crossed. Look at that church. What a beautiful view. And we're gonna take off. This is the beautiful hallway outside the elevators. Thank you, Fairmont, for letting us see an amazing piece of history. Well, there you go, my friends. Your old pal Jordan the Lion came through for you once again. Hope you guys enjoyed getting to see this. They kind of shared some funny stories with me that they said they have a lot of celebrities that actually stay in that room, and one of their bellboys that shows off the room to the people, he plays guitar, and occasionally he gets to go in and play guitar with some of the celebrities in that room. How cool is that? That was incredible. Now let's go find this famed underground city of Montreal. Well, here's our next stop. Yep, when it gets too cold to be above ground, everyone goes below. And there's literally a whole world of stores and basically an underground mall all the way under Montreal. Just so you don't get lost, they put what streets you're connecting to. So see, we have a big intersection here. Here you can get some sushi, some sandwiches, pizza, whatever you want. Look at the logo for Deli Planet. Now check out this section of it. A lot of the underground cities connect to businesses, hotels. Kind of cool how much of this city connects underground. Let's go over there and take a look at that statue. I love that. If you look up there, not only can you see a bunch of offices, but you can see that sphere. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's incredible. Too bad they don't have the fountain that's right inside her her vase thing there on. That would have been cool. I think we'll get something to eat while we're down here too. You can buy your clothes down here. Alright, I decided to try the Montreal hot dog and a poutine. The hot dog itself is kind of strange because they put cabbage on it. Well, my friends, we are done here in Montreal. Let's get out of here. That's where I stayed if you're ever interested in staying here. Now let's go to the airport and head home. Alright, let's head out of here. Goodbye to the Leonard Cohen. And only downside to this hotel is when I came in here earlier, there was a guy sitting right here snorting cocaine. Well, the city didn't want to let me go without a hailstorm. Look at this. Yep, waiting for a bus in this to go to the airport. Alright, we're here, and there's the departures. Alright, for some reason I got randomly selected to be a security check, but we got through it, and I got a window seat, and they said that the flight for the most part is only about half full, so it should be no problems. Nice comfy flight. Back to California. Alright, we don't even have a layover, it's just a straight shot home. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a night. I want to thank Sandra Bruton, Rita Fawcett, Wendy McFadden Allerby, Janet Matthews, and Joni Aubin for making contributions to my channel. Huge thank you to the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth Hotel for letting us in, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you all in Los Angeles. Have a great night, and goodbye.